Did your husband just ask you to find the mayo in the refrigerator again? Or is the mental load just weighing you down? In this video, I'm going to share some tips and tools to help shift out of that dynamic and ways that you can lighten your mental load. The other day, I'm in the living room, my son is in the kitchen, and he hollers to me, "Mom, can you help me find," it wasn't mayo, but asked me to help him find something in the refrigerator. And I said, "Hey, I will do that for you, but I want you to know that if I find it, I'm going to charge you $5. I did that, A, because I want him to feel empowered that he can look for something and find it. And B, I'm thinking about his future. I don't want him adding all of this extra load to his partner. Of course, he found it, which I was very proud of him. But it's that idea of teaching each other how they can do things differently. There's this Harvard research study about how children gain confidence, and they gain confidence by contributing. When they feel like they matter to the family, whether it's chores, whether it's going down to the corner to pick up an avocado, when they contribute to the family, they have meaning. And when we are doing something, it matters that it changes how we feel about ourselves. The worst thing we do is take care of every single thing for our child, and they don't have to fold their laundry. They don't have to look for their socks. They don't have to get their laundry in the washing machine so they can scream at you the next morning, "I have nothing to wear," when they didn't do that. Once they learn how to do those things, it changes everything. Now back to your marriage, back to this invisible mental load that so many of us are carrying for our partners. There's a couple of things that you can do to help shift this dynamic. Remember in your heart that they get confidence in the doing, that they are gaining confidence by doing the thing that needs to be done. The next thing you need to keep in mind is it's not going to be perfect. Perfect squashes creativity and squashes that natural inclination we feel when something needs to be done, when we want to help. It's like somebody spills over a glass of milk, and our natural inclination is to jump up and to take care of it. When we automatically do everything for everyone, we squash that impulse. This practice is going to require you to let go of what the outcome is. It's going to require you to be comfortable with things being messy, because when we're learning something, it's messy. When you're learning how to bake, it's messy. When you're learning how to walk as a child, you fall down again and again and again. And it's the same thing with these mental load tasks. And I think women get so overscheduled and we have so many things on our plate that we're working as fast as we possibly can, stuck in this productivity loop of getting this thing done, getting that thing done. So it's just easier, it's faster if I do it. And that is true. But then you build that resentment, you build that exhaustion, and then your partner is feeling less confident, less capable, and then they're feeling resentful of you for feeling resentful of them. When they do something and it's not perfect and you sigh loudly, that's demotivating and it's unhelpful. So you have to remember to quiet that down, even if it's like you squeeze your fingers or you squeeze your hands. Somehow you shift what you do with that impulse that you want to correct or punish or criticize. You have to push the brakes on that one. Here's the other thing you need to do. You have to be willing to delegate. You have to be willing to say, "Hey, I want you to buy the birthday presents this year." And if they mess them up, it's okay. Everybody will survive, but it's one less thing on your list. I know so many people say to me, "Yes, Andrea, but the amount of time it's going to take me to tell them how to do it, I can just have it done already." And that's true on many, many levels. But you don't want to think in this short term. You're building a long-term habit, a long-term pattern of change in your marriage. And that's going to take time. And that's going to take patience that you're going to have to cultivate with the beginning stages of this process. So when you're asking somebody, for your spouse, maybe even your child, for something again and again and again, and they're not doing it, and you feel that fatigue, that exhaustion, there's a couple things that you can do. First of all, make certain when you're asking that they're looking at you, that you're making eye contact. So often I find that people's hearing is actually a little bit challenged and we don't notice it because it's not extreme. And we're always looking at our phones, or the phone's always buzzing, or we're always doing something. So when you're asking something and you recognize, like, oh, I've asked this a couple of times, if you just take a moment and pause and make certain you have eye contact, it's like when you're crossing the street, you're not going to just walk and expect the car to stop. You want to stop and make certain that they're going to stop before you cross so you don't get run over. It's the same thing with these kind of ongoing questions that you're asking them to do. So you pause and make certain they have eye contact. And then you say, hey, I need you to throw out the garbage. Thank you so much for doing it. I need it done now. And it's just clear, it's crisp, and it's concise. You let them know what the thing is. You let them know that you appreciate it, and you let them know the time that it needs to be done. Sometimes if people have some distractions and there's some kind of ways that we learn or listen that are different. There's a little bit of neurodiversity in there. One of the things you can do is say, if it's something that's in the future, is it something you want to put down on your calendar so that you don't forget? It's a little bit of babying, but initially you're thinking long-term always in these dynamics, in these changes. Nobody's going to do anything overnight to change. But when you say, hey, do you want to add this to your calendar so you don't forget to do it today at 3:00? And you do it in a generous way, they say, yeah, okay, let me add this to my calendar. Let me set an alert. Let me set a second alert. So I make certain to call the pediatrician. So I make certain to order the cake. Those are all really important things. And I know you're going to say, then I have to follow up. And they say, oh, shoot, I forgot. And that's going to happen because people are human and you're human and we all make those mistakes. But eventually over time, when you make that eye contact and make certain they're listening, you give them a really direct request with a very specific time, and you ask if they need help setting their timer or making an alert on their phone. It changes everything. Check out some of my free resources below for more tools and tips to help empower you to make the changes you want to see in your marriage. Take good care. I'm out here rooting for you.